What's up, Wastelanders? How's everybody doing today? I'm doing great. I hope you are too. Folks, it's that time of year. It is spooky season, and I am very enthusiastically jumping on the bandwagon. Today we're going to be building a creepy abandoned house in the middle of the forest. We're over here along Highway 88 with Alpine River cabins down to the south, and if you head roughly northwest, you're going to hit Black Mountain Ordnance Works, and we've got the vault over here to the east. If you're looking for this exact spot, you're gonna head along this road until you find this stretch of fence here, these big flat rocks, and a speed limit sign on the edge of the road, and that's when you'll know you're there. Now we're going to be doing this a little bit differently today. Rather than show you every single wall, floor, everything that goes into it, I'm going to mainly be focusing on the interesting stuff, the important stuff, the stuff that you might not know how to build or might not have thought of before. So let's just take a look around the outside of the structure first so that you have an idea of where this is going. The main body of the house is 4x3. It's 2 stories high. You got a couple of porches, one on the front, one on the side. This intentionally out of place looking shed here. A little balcony on the upper floor over the side porch, and on the front we have this 2x2 sort of tower thing attached to the front corner of the house. And let's just take a look at the roof real quick so you have an idea of what that is going to look like when it's done. So yeah, the basic structure is fairly simple, kind of boxy, but I did use real Victorian mansions as the inspiration for this structure. Anyway, so just a little quick throwing down some of the foundations. And this here is going to be the front of our sort of tower thing. So here's the base of our tower. I'm going to put up some walls around the thing. And just a quick note here on double walling this set. You can't actually double wall with the haunted house walls. They just don't work that way for some reason. So you'll have to use a different type of wall from just about any other set. Double wall it and then change it later to the wall type that you actually want. So we're going to throw up our roof here. Now we need to destroy this roof in order to put in the little center tower thing. So if you set the flamethrower on the side of one of the roof pieces so that it's aiming toward the one next to it, then you can destroy them really easily. And for this last piece, I've just put up a flat piece of roof for now so I can set the flamethrower trap on that to destroy it. So I could have made this easier on myself from the start by starting out with doorway walls down here, but I didn't, so I'm going to do that now. And now we're going to go ahead and center a foundation piece in the middle of this so that we can build a little 1 square tower in the middle. And you can actually do this in a slightly easier way by waiting until you've put in the upper floor and then just using the upper floors to do this. But if you prefer to do this ahead of time like I did, then this is how to do it. Alright, so we're just going to build up those 2 stories there. And now we start on the part that actually sticks up out of the roof and creates our little tower. I'm using half walls here because later I'm going to change the upper ones all the way around to the little round windowed ones. Now we need to just flamethrower the lower of the 2 half walls, otherwise we will not be able to remove the full walls from underneath. And I've just popped a flat roof in there, which you can't quite see through the weird yellow, so that I can set the flamethrower on it and get this last piece of wall broken. Now that's done, we can go ahead and take away these support walls that we put down. And this is what that's going to look like so far. Now just go ahead and hit the repair all on your camp module. And then head on up there and pop a little roof on there. You can use the one with or without the little cupola. I personally liked it with. I'll just replace these floors. And our little tower is good to go. Now just so you can see how I've put together the rest of the structure, that's what the finished foundation is going to look like, and then we're just putting in the little side porch, and you can get kind of an overview of where things are up to this point. Alright, now moving on to the upstairs after I've put in an upper floor. I do want to double wall some of these arches, and later there's going to be upper half walls and things. So yeah, I want to be able to double these, and the only way to do that is, apparently very ineptly, with brick walls. So you're going to go ahead and put down your brick walls, and then you're going to put your flamethrower trap up on some tables like this, destroy the brick walls, and then you're going to put the opposite ones in. Change them to whatever wall type you like, and repair all the other stuff. But yeah, this only works with brick walls, so unfortunately you can't do it with anything else. Also, just a quick little thing on how I put in the balcony up above, because it's simple, but it's just a build order thing. You do need to put in those half floors first, and then you can put the porch pieces back underneath them with no problem whatsoever. And I'm going to be walling in that upper part later, so it will make a little more sense in the end. Alright, and now we're going to do the same thing again. I've changed the roofs around and added a room on the side there. And this is what the finished structure ends up looking like. But yeah, so now I've got some more upper bits of wall that need to be double walled. And this time I am actually going to hook up a generator to the flamethrower trap, because that makes it a little easier when you've got a bunch of these to do. Also keep in mind that with the brick walls you will have to let the flamethrower sit there for a little bit longer because they have a pretty high durability. And now that we've broken half of our house, we can put some walls in. And then just run on down to the camp module, repair everything again, and change them to whatever wall types you want. Okay, so this is what the outside of the structure is looking like now at this point. It's pretty much in its finished form, aside from the weird shed on the back, which we're going to do in just a minute. So now it is time to build our creepy murder dungeon. So for those of you who have not built underneath the world before, here's just a little quick tutorial. So what you need to do to be able to get underneath the world to build an actual basement or dungeon or whatever, is attach some stairs to the foundation. I like these wide vault stairs with no railings because they're the easiest ones to put the terminal onto. And then we're going to take a small rug. It's easiest if you set this down on a floor to do it. And then take the My Personal Terminal, which is in the miscellaneous category, and you can place it on the rug so that the back of the terminal's foot, if you want to call it that, is lined up with the back of the rug. Now we just pick this whole thing up by the rug, and we're going to take it out here and wiggle it around until it settles down on the stairs, and we want it to be right about here, not sticking out any farther. Otherwise it will just spit us back out up above the world. So right there looks good. Now if you go ahead and activate the terminal and then exit it, it will pop you down onto the stairs underneath the world. And from this point you can just snap some floors there and start building. So I want to build a little shed out on the back of the house. I did want something that actually looks like it was added on later, that it was not part of the original structure because of the nature of this basement and the concept behind it. So yeah, I'm going to throw some foundations down, and the structure of the shed will change a little bit later, but for now you get the idea. And now if I take that out, I'm going to try moving the stairs over here. This is where I eventually want the stairs to be, but as you will see in just a second here, I'm not actually able to get down under the world from here because of the way the ground slopes downward in front of the terminal. The ground there is just too far below the terminal, and it pops me right back up and spits me out above the ground again. So I'm just going to take a second and rotate the staircase the other way. The ground is higher on this side of it. So in just a minute, I'm going to go down underneath and move the terminal a little farther down the stairs. But first I just want to take a minute and finish building this shed structure on the back, so that I have an idea of what that's going to look like and how I want to build the entrance below it. And it's always a little tricky building these entrances to like basements and things because you want to make it as unobtrusive as possible. You want to make it so that it's not like super obvious. So yeah, it can be a little difficult camouflaging those things sometimes, but I think this one turned out pretty well. Anyway, so now I'm going to add some stairs down below these ones so that I can get down there a little farther. And just grab this thing by the rug again and move it down about 2 steps should do it. And then fall off the world and realize when I get up here that I forgot to remove the second staircase. So let's do this again. Go back under there, take off the second staircase, and try again. Great, now we are actually able to turn that around, and as you can see, the terminal is nice and low on the ground. We have no problems getting down here now. So now we can go ahead and finish putting together this creepy murder dungeon. And I apologize for the rambliness of my builds. They kind of tend to go all over the place. I don't always have the clearest picture when I'm starting of what I'm actually going to end up doing, so then I end up changing things a lot, and it doesn't always make a lot of sense, I think, from the outside. But hopefully, in the end, you get a clear enough picture of how to do these things, and maybe you get some inspiration and ideas as well. So yeah, I decided at this point I would like kind of a turn in the stairs going down. And I very much enjoy falling through the world. So yeah, now I've set up a sort of little landing, which is also going to, the walls around the landing are going to extend upward into the shed. And I guess I should note here too that I'm kind of particular when I build under the world about making it so that when you're down there you don't actually notice that you're anyplace strange. It just seems like you're actually in a basement. So I do try to close everything off so that you can't see all this weirdness down here. So yeah, my goal here is to make a closed off entryway that leads into some kind of a basement room. And I'm going to go ahead and have a little brain fart here. And it'll take me a moment to realize that I need to put a half wall under that arch first. So now let's go ahead and do that right, and now we can pop a roof on top of that. And a little bit of this roof will be noticeable above the ground, but I'm actually going to turn that into sort of a outside, like an outer cellar entrance looking thing. For now I'm sticking this on the side here, and in the tour later on you'll see that it's still on the side. I'm actually going to show you how to set it into that odd piece of roof there so that it really does actually look like a proper cellar entrance. Alright, so now we've got this fairly enclosed space that will easily transition down into another room. And I'm going to go ahead and start building this room. I started off with the idea of sort of a creepy cult church thing down here, and I ended up not really liking that or quite knowing what to do with the space. So I did make it smaller later on, but I left this in the video because I wanted you to also be able to see how big a space you can actually create under the world here without it being visible from the ground level. And sometimes if you're having difficulty placing a roof like here, just go ahead and put one of those arches on the side and it will snap on no problem. I'm just going to open that up for easy access for now. Now you can see this like 2-story high roof peak doesn't show through the ground at all. Anyway, here's just a quick little thing. I did want to show you how to set the utility room entrance into this roof piece to make it look like a cellar entrance. So you're going to go ahead and delete the roof and find the spot where it will let you place the shelter entrance. It's pretty picky about that, but there is a sweet spot, and once you find it you can also put it down in pretty deep like this. But I think the reason it gives you trouble placing it in the first place is because there are stairs underneath it. So now let's just pop down underneath again. And we're going to put down a flat roof. And I've positioned this one wrong, so let's rotate it. And then you'll need any of the other roof sets, just literally any of them, like the log cabin or greenhouse or brotherhood or haunted house roofs that will allow you to change to a sloped roof like this, and then you can change it to the standard sloped roof. So you don't have, for example, some bright green thing or a thatched roof with a dormer in it sticking out of the ground, because both of those would look really weird. But this does not look weird. And in fact really does look a lot like a cellar door. So that's how to do that. Quick and easy little tutorial there. And that's really about it when it comes to building the weird stuff in this build. So let's go ahead and take a look at the finished thing now. I could not be happier with this weather. It was great. Nice little creepy thunderstorm. So yeah, here's our finished house. Spooky light on up there in the tower. Little condemned sign. In my headcanon, this house was condemned and going to be destroyed before the bombs hit. But, well, obviously then the bombs. So that never happened. It's been abandoned for a while, you know, and some survivors moved in here and started squatting in the place after the war. So you'll see some of their belongings scattered about. The place has been picked pretty clean and really has like a really abandoned feel to it, which I think personally is, for me at least, is creepier and spookier than a fully furnished, quote-unquote, spooky house. I didn't want to go for campy, Halloween-y kind of spooky. I wanted to go for actually kind of slightly creepy and unsettling. And to me, abandoned houses are creepy and unsettling. So yeah, you can see we've got, you know, furniture just kind of thrown around, what's left of it, broken chairs, things like that. Really worn looking carpet, not much wallpaper or things on the walls, you know, only in a few places. And if you notice also, I did put light fixtures on the ceiling, even though there's no electricity here, because there would have been electricity before the war, before the place was abandoned, but there isn't anymore. So it's all lit with candles and lanterns, but there are still light fixtures present. Out here I kept the porch pretty minimal. Dead plants are great if you're going for a creepy abandoned vibe too. And I think this is probably the only time I've ever used any of the dead plants in a build. There's actually quite a few things in here that I don't think I've ever used before. Some of the really broken looking furniture. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So for once I was actually happy to have those things. They came in handy. Upstairs we've got some more dead plants. This little office with the tree branch growing through it, that worked better when I had a normal window wall on there, but I didn't like the normal window wall as much, so oh well. And I do really like the look of the haunted house walls with no wallpaper on them like this. They're really nice looking. Over here in the bedroom again, light fixtures with no electricity, broken down old furniture, everything just sort of shoved around, nothing lined up neatly, which with my obsessive compulsive traits was a little difficult, to say the least, having crooked furniture all over the place. And I believe this is probably the only time I've ever used the broken bathtub in a build, and the toilet as well, but they're just perfect there. And now let's go see what's behind this secret door. I love that door, by the way. The way the picture changes depending on the angle or how close you are. Super cool effect. All right, so we'll pop down here under the world. And this is where we do the human sacrifices. I think the slightly grungy white tile just gives it a really nice vibe down here. This is the arts and crafts corner. We've got our little tools on the wall, because everyone needs axes and meat hooks and buzz saws for arts and crafts, obviously. And you'll notice that this isn't a very functional camp. I think this is the only workbench. Yeah, this is the only workbench I have in here. It's really just meant to be more of an experience than a base. And over here you've got some of the science projects and the supplies that I use for cleaning up the messes I make. And Henry, my pet crow. Or is he a raven? I don't remember. Raven, I think. Anyway, taking a look outside of the finished thing, over here in this lovely burnt out patch of land, we've got a very charming cultist totem. And in the back, the cellar entrance before I'd figured out how to put it in the way I wanted it to, and a couple of half-hidden graves behind the bushes. And Henry flapping around again. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope you got some inspiration from this. Don't forget to make sure that you're subscribed and you've turned on notifications so that you don't miss out on future videos. And as always, take care of yourselves, be good to each other, and I will see you in the next video.